Welcome back, and in this video we are going to learn to solve for simple interest. Simple interest is when the interest represented by I is equal to our principal, which will have the symbol P, times our rate, which we use the symbol R, times our time. Now, a couple things to note about these is our rate always needs to be in decimal form, and our time must always be in years. What does the principal represent? Well, that's the money that you are investing, maybe the money you have in your bank. Interest is what we are going to make off of having that money in the bank. So when we look at this formula of I equals PRT, one student once told me they remember it as I love to party. I love parties. So that's a way to remember the variables that multiply together. Now, this is the formula we want to remember, but if we know this, we can rearrange this to solve for any one of these variables. Let's say I wasn't trying to find the interest, I was trying to find the principal. Well, then, the two that I do not want are the R and the T. And so the way to get rid of them would be to divide both sides by that. Okay, I'll show you what that looks like. If we have PRT and I divide both sides by the R and T that I don't want, they're going to cancel each other out. But remember, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So the formula becomes the interest divided by the rate times time. Maybe we were trying to find the rate. Well, the same thing is going to happen. If I started with the I equals PRT and I want rate, then the two that need to go away are P and T. So I'm going to divide by P and T. Once again, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. The last variable we might be trying to find is T. So if I was trying to find T, the two that don't belong are P and R. So those are going to get divided and move to the other side. Now, I've got three new formulas that I could be using: solving for the principal, solving for the rate, or solving for time. It just depends on what the question is asking you. So let's take a look at a question. Let's say you are given an interest of $36 and you were told that the rate is 5.7%. And you are trying to figure out how much did you invest if it was in the bank for, let's say, 9 months. Let's start with the I equals PRT. What we are trying to find then, being our P, I need to get the P all by itself, which means R and T are going to have to disappear. Remember, we'd have to divide both sides by R and T to do so. So those will cancel. So now I can solve for P, and I have to substitute in, what is the interest? Well, that was $36. What is our rate? Our rate is 5.7%. Did you remember that rate needs to be in decimal? So to do that, I know that percent is always out of 100. So I'm going to divide this by 100%. And that is going to move the decimal 2 places left, making it 0.057. So now I can put that into my formula for rate. I'm going to multiply that by my time. But again, time needs to be in years. So the way to put this into years is to divide by 12 months, because there are 12 months every year. I'm going to leave that as a fraction so that I get an accurate answer. What if this had been in days? For example, if it was 60 days. Well, then we need to divide by how many days are in a year, which is 365. If the question had it in weeks, let's say it was 9 weeks. Do you know how many weeks are in a year? It's 52. So we would divide by the 52 weeks in a year. So make sure that time is always in years. That is the one piece of information we always need to look out for before we put it in the formula, along with making sure we've changed our rate. All right, now that we've got all of that, let's go ahead and calculate that. Take a moment to put it in your calculator. And one thing that you've got to be careful for is that you put brackets around all of this bottom stuff so that your calculator does not just divide it by the first number before multiplying. All right, I got an answer of $842, and if I'm rounding to 2 decimal place, the nearest hundredth, 11. Hopefully you can celebrate because you got the same answer. All right, that's it for solving simple interest. Now there's, again, many different formulas you can use depending on which of the 4 variables you are solving for. You're either going to be dividing or simply finding the interest and multiplying all 3.